Hi, welcome to another episode of Simply Sauce with Chef Mel. So today we're going to do a pasta dish. It's called Shrimp Fra Diavolo. So this one's a little spicy. And we're also going to complement that with a prosciutto wrapped asparagus. So we'll do a little multitasking, all right? So we'll start out with some red wine that I'm drinking and cooking with, because I love that. And we're going to start a saute. All right, so this Shrimp Fra Diavolo, we're gonna use Chef Mel's as a base, but we're gonna kick it up a few notches with some crushed red pepper. Now, again, as you guys know, I simplify these recipes because I want everybody to be able to cook like this. I was a single mom for like 10 years, and I like restaurant quality food, but couldn't afford to go out and buy it for quite a while. And then when I did go out, sometimes I guess I'm a lot like my nana, I thought my food was better. And I wasn't being cocky, I just thought mine was better. So I wanted to learn how to make more of this stuff on my own. So this is one of the dishes here. So if you like spicy food and you like shrimp, you're gonna love this. And you know I like to mix my sweets. So let me start with the shrimp saute. Oh yeah, good and hot. All right, so we're gonna saute this shrimp and then we'll get the sauce going. And meanwhile, I'm boiling pasta. I always cook the pasta about 10 minutes. Some people want to go a little less for al dente, but it's pretty perfect if you cook it for 10 minutes. And today we're going to use linguine. And if you have a favorite, you want to use something else, feel free. I like the linguine. I like bucatini. I like those that hold the sauce a little better and you can just roll it up with a fork and eat it. And I know I've said this before, but I like to break my pasta in half and then cook it, which is okay to do by Italian standards. Don't cut your pasta after it's cooked because some people will frown upon that, in the words of Tucci. I like to name drop Stanley Tucci. I'm a big fan of his. And I hope sometime he lets me know he's watching my show too. Oh, that shrimp looks fantastic. So then we're gonna work on the sauce, and the sauce is gonna be easy. Again, this sauce could be more complicated if you need it to be, but I simplify that by using Chef Mel's. All right, so we got a nice little browning saute on that, and we're gonna just do a little switcheroony. All right, and real simply, we're gonna add Chef Mel's. And if you've been watching other shows of mine, you know that I like to rinse these jars out. And you know I like to do it with wine versus water. So the recipe online does call for a dry white wine. So you can really kind of get that spicy flavor. However, you can use whatever wine you want. If you want to go for a little more sweet, do that. I'm using a red wine because I personally love red wines the best. And I'm using a red wine to really give it a more rich, robust flavor. All right. So we'll rinse that can, get all that goodness in there. All right. Now, some people, you may or may not like this, but if you like a Caesar salad, you might like this flavor. But these are anchovies. I chopped them up real fine. And that's gonna go right in the sauce. All right. And then of course, crushed red pepper. Now, you can go a tablespoon, you can go 2 tablespoons, whatever your likeness is. The recipe calls for 1, but if you want to make it a little bit more spicy, I say go for it. I'm gonna keep that for just a minute. All right, so I'm gonna get this sauce going. We'll eventually add the shrimp back to the sauce once we get it simmering. And then we'll have the pasta. And then I'm going to show you how to make prosciutto wrapped asparagus to make it nice and Italiano. All right, we'll be back in a minute. So we've got the sauce going, and the recipe does call for the dry white wine, but I'm going to use red today. And it's like a half a cup. So yeah, I think that's probably about half a cup, maybe a little bit more. That's okay. You know, Italians don't like to measure. I'm only measuring so that I can teach you guys and how to replicate the recipe. All right, so we're gonna get this nice and simmering, smelling really good. All right, I'm gonna check on the pasta. Bottle gone. All right, that's just about done. So I'm gonna set this up for the asparagus. So I love asparagus, fresh asparagus, and I used to do bacon wrapped asparagus, and to just kind of make it more Italian, I started playing around with prosciutto, and I love it. So that's what we're going to make today. Now, prosciutto you can get from the grocery store, but if you're in a big city like New York, just go to a deli, because there's like one on every corner, right? And I got this from the deli next door, and this looks fantastic. So you just take maybe 2 or 3 pieces, thin asparagus, and you see that thin prosciutto, and you just wrap it around and make a little bundle, okay? Now, prosciutto is not quite as fatty. They do trim a lot of the fat, so I do like to just put a little bit of olive oil, and you can just kind of rub that in like so. You can use a spray olive oil if that's easier. Whatever you got on hand, okay? So we're gonna make these little bundles like so. What's great about this is if you have leftovers, it makes a great omelet the next morning. I love to make omelets and frittatas, which will be on another episode. But I love to take leftovers from the night before and make an omelet or a frittata out of it. All right, so I'm gonna keep wrapping. I'm gonna get the pasta going, get the sauce simmering, do a little multitasking here, but it's simple multitasking. So I'll keep working here and we'll be right back. Okay, so I got all of the asparagus wrapped up in prosciutto. We're gonna bake that at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes until the asparagus is tender, and you know, depending on how you like it, I don't like it to get too soft. It's gotta have a little bit of consistency to it, in my opinion. So we're gonna work on the sauce. We're getting a nice little simmer here. Oh, smells delicious. So now we're going to take that shrimp and put that back into the sauce. And then we're going to simmer this for, say, about as long as it takes to bake the asparagus. So that works out pretty nicely. So what we can do is, while this is cooking, we're gonna put this in at 350, and then we can put it all together, plate it up, serve it. Serve this with a little salad if you like, but you got your pasta, you got your meat, you got your vegetables, so you can just serve it with some nice bread, wine, and call it a meal. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, So got everything ready to plate up. Got the pastas done, the sauce, and this beautiful prosciutto wrapped asparagus. All right, so we're gonna plate this up, and like I always say, make it aesthetically pleasing to the eye, because it just tastes that much better. All right, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put some of this asparagus on here. Looks good. Yum. And then I always like to top it with some cheese. So if you like cheese, top away. If not, that's okay. And as you're eating the pasta, a little bit of sauce gets on your asparagus, no big a deal. All right, so there you go. That is shrimp fra diavolo, prosciutto wrapped asparagus. It's a very nice meal. Today's episode was brought to you by Chef Mel Sauces Incorporated. We're located in St. Louis, Missouri. We're in stores in Missouri and Illinois, and soon to expand further out. It was my pleasure to cook for you guys. Keep watching, lots of things to teach you. And as always, my pleasure again. Mangia bene.